I like coming here because the teaching's really good.
I'm busier, so you'll get fine.
You making fun of me,
Especially when
Brad?
Brad teaches, it's really good.
Oh, Brad, you don't have all these things.
You would get fixed the cello. And that pillow hurt.
I should have brought Bertha. Just maybe I'll bring Bertha next.
No.
I'll bring Bertha next week.
No.
It's the end of year celebration. I'll celebrate with all the children.
Brad,
It'll be great.
Brad, please tell me you're not bringing Bertha to Madison Mission.
I don't know that I'm gonna be at Madison Missions. I might have to stop by just with Bertha.
Thank you.
But
Wait,
I was-
no!
Yes.
No, you
I was
can't
really
stop by
hoping.
with Bertha.
I
I'm there.
think tonight's theme really needs to start out with a nice, happy song. And so I was hoping we could play this. Is this a 1980s commercial? Raise your hand if you're sure. Does anybody know that deodorant commercial? No? Okay. Oh, never mind. Maybe Kim. That's about it. I'm stalling for the song.
Oh no.
Not that one, the happy one. That's not a happy one. Trust me. I know, I sent her the link.
How do you know it's on the screen though?
I can see it from here.
24 hours.
I saw this like 2 years ago.
Oh! See, I need a hat like that. I think this is true about my teacher's night. Anybody know this song? There we go. So I know you like this, but unfortunately they're all just gonna like disappear. And because tonight we're actually not talking about happiness, but when I thought about tonight's teaching, I thought about, okay, where does this all come from? How does this work? I thought back to my grandfather being in the hospital and going down and seeing him, thinking about, well, when they take him off the machines, he's not going to make it, and we're going to have to go to the funeral. And I thought about people crying at the funeral, and they're sad. And it took me a while, a couple weeks after, and Grandpa's fine, he's at home, and Grandpa's a tinkerer, and he's got oxygen tanks in the house. There's going to be a divot the size of New York City in Peoria because he's going to mess with the stupid thing, because that's what Grandpa does. But I thought about all those people that would show up at Grandpa's funeral. That I honestly, one, I don't know. Two, I don't know how many there are, but I knew Grandpa knew a lot of people. And the fact that they'd all be sad. And at first, when I think of funerals, I get upset about them because it's sad. You miss that person. I had a friend died. Some of you heard this teaching back December 10th. She died and left her kids and her husband. Not by choice, but because it was her time. And that was sad. And there was a lot of people at her funeral, at her 2 visitations. And you know what I realized? I realized that people don't show up to be sad at a funeral. They show up sad because that person brought happiness to their life. And if nobody shows up at a funeral and cries, if they're happy at the funeral that the person's dead, that probably doesn't say much about the person alive, right? And they probably weren't all, oh, thank God that person's dead. Do you know how much grief they put me through? So that's not, so when you see people sad, it's a weird happy thing because sadness in that occasion is actually a great thing because that person, it shows how many people they touched. And we often forget about that in our regular lives, how we go about our days and we interact with people and we touch people's lives. And a lot of times we don't know the way they look back on us. And so those are just some of the things I thought of right offhand. And so I'm sitting there in Florida, beautiful sunshine and the beach and my Bible, working on the teaching, and it was tough. It was tough being so white. So I got a tan while I was doing it. It was really tough. It was and it was sad for me to leave. but it was happy for me to come home. You know, you get that mixture of things.
Right, regrettably, you might get skin cancer.
I'm working on it, trust me. That's my way. See, that's the other thing. If I'm going to sit in the sun because I want a tan, and I don't read the label because I don't want to know how unhappy I'm gonna be 40 years from now after drinking this.
Wait,
So-
isn't that like how old you are?
What's that?
Aren't you like 40?
Not yet. 40 years from now. That's an add. That's a math problem. It's a plus. That'll put me in my 70s.
But like, I don't know how old you are. I thought you were like 40, 38.
Jacob? I will bring Bertha next week. So, I'm going through my Bible, and I realized the Bible has something I never knew it had. In the back, it's got keywords, right, Nick? It's got keywords that you can go through, like grief and distress and happy and joy, and it gives you verses. I mean, some of them, I think joy had like almost a page and a half. It was ridiculous. I would have been thumbing through the Bible looking for happiness all day long, which would have been great. But I had to get a tan, so my time was torn up. But in Job, in 36:16, it says, "God is leading you away from danger, Job." Now he's talking to Job here, but let's just take Job out. Take your name, plug it in. So
Jacob.
God is leading you away from danger, Jacob, because you are a bad person. Not really. I really like you, Jacob. To a place free of distress. He is setting your table with the best food. God is reaching out to you, and he's bringing you away from this world of distress and grief and sadness. He's got the place set up for you in heaven, right? So all the distresses that you deal with during the day and in your life and with your friends, it's all going to be over. And God's going to bring you up, and you're going to sit down, and you're going to have a great feast. It's going to be all good. He's taking you away from this. And I read a little farther, and I got into Psalms. And in Psalms 18, verse 16, it says, "You reached down from heaven and rescued me. He drew me up out of deep waters." And when I was your guys' age, I would hear things like this, and I go, I have no idea what that means. I'm not, what do you think I am, in the ocean? I'm not drowning here, right? Right, God, I'm miserable. What the heck does that mean? And what it means is a lot of the times we get so piled on by this world, and it weighs us down. And we feel so far from him. We feel so far from happiness. We don't know how to find our way back out. But he reaches down through all the garbage of this world and grabs us, and he pulls us out. He's always reaching for us. We just have to reach back. And I think that's kind of, for me, that was something that was hard for me. I got so down once, so utterly empty and hollow, and I didn't know what good I could do anymore. I tried doing things that I knew were really good, and I spent a lot of time, I tried doing this one project in the basement and getting the stair, which isn't done, but getting the staircase done, and getting it to work out so nice. And I spent so time with it, I'd forgotten other responsibilities in my life, but I was so intent on getting that done, and I thought, when people see how good this is, they're gonna say, hey, you did a great job, and I wanted it to be good. And I was told that it wasn't what was wanted. I was way overdoing it. And that crushed me. I was so sad. And so I remember laying on that floor and not knowing what to do. Not knowing how to reach back up, reach out for God, and just thinking, I've got no purpose anymore. I've tried and I've done and I can't do it. But he reaches all the time. He's trying to rescue us. But it's very hard when you're down that far to be able to see. It's like being so deep in the ocean where it's so black. His hand can be in your face, but you can't see it. But you gotta know that you can reach out and grab it because it's there. And in Psalm 118, verse 5, it says, "In my distress, I prayed to the Lord, and the Lord answered me and set me free." Now, from that point where I was laying in my basement staring up at the ceiling, over the next 6 months, I actually spent some time with a good friend. He actually is a teacher at another church and does a lot of youth group work. And just talked with him and worked through things, and it eventually got back out. And I'd like to say that I don't struggle with that anymore.